the more people make, or companies make these simpler games, I think they're finding their passion for making video games again. This is just my take. I haven't seen or read anything that makes me think this about. For a number of weeks now, it seems like we've been talking here on the channel and in my live streams about this shift that's happening within the gaming industry. There seems to be a real call back to the time of classic gaming and the kind of simplicity of it. Not to say that they're going to dumb down games, but there's a call back to what I would call the golden age of gaming, simpler times, and I think a lot of it has to do with like exploding studio budgets. We've kind of seen a lot of bad things going south as far as financials. Just how many companies we've seen like have to let people go, lay people off. A lot of independent studios have popped up because of people losing their jobs. Before you get further into it, consider subscribing to the channel. Throw a like on here, share it around, tell your friends, tell your folks, tell your granny, tell everybody who wants to know about the gaming news. Grannies are younger these days. I know, they've been playing games, I understand, so y'all tell them Uncle Ray's got you covered here. Check it out. Appreciate all the support. We're on our way to 6,000 subscribers, and I appreciate you all helping me get there. This isn't going to be a specified video on one company or one studio or one publisher or anything like that. The seas are changing. Like the winds of change are in the air, and I call it, a lot of it is the clair obscur effect. A lot of it has to do with how this company, on a limited budget with a limited team, made what should be the game of the year, what should be getting GOTY across the board, not just at the Game Awards, but like across the board. A lot of people love this game, and whether or not the RPG is your cup of tea or whatever, you can't deny the impact this game had and the impact it's having on the industry. Industry heads of the studios are wanting to talk to these people. Square Enix had them in-house. Other places have reached out to them, wanting to know what their stuff is. Hell, my editor reached out to them to see if we could work on something, and they got back to us, and they were like, hey, appreciate the input. We're really busy all of a sudden. They've been getting an influx of calls, influx of messages, and it's been absolutely insane, the level of outreach from the industry. So what does that mean, Ray? You get to the point, Ray. What does that mean? Well, a lot of studio heads at like Sony Santa Monica and other places, I think Sucker Punch even, they're looking into how to scale down their costs. We see companies like Square Enix doing it. People complain about the HD 2D remasters of Square Enix, but it's cost effective, and it is still giving fans something they want. They want remasters and remakes of these old games. Not everybody does, I get it. You want new IPs, and they're working on that too, but companies are trying to find a way to edge out this tide, this growing tsunami of inflated production costs. Prices go up on things. Game developers have to live. They have to have a working wage. That working wage goes up. It means people lose their jobs, and some people have to take on more work because they're getting paid more. It is an endless current. So companies are trying to find ways to fix this. I think there is a real sea change, a real reset coming to the game industry, and it starts at the top. What is the top? Production costs. It costs money to make these things, and I think what is happening now is people are trying to find ways to they're either not putting as much out and trying to hone their resources in one direction, or what I think is happening is they're, based on some of the messaging I see and like some of the press releases that are coming out and some of the industry speak, and not just gaming industry speak, but like marketing and media speak, you can tell when a game company writes something or if they have a social manager doing it for them. So sometimes the way things are worded are very different, but what I'm seeing is a lot of people and outsourced companies and stuff like that, they're handling PR for certain companies. It's not coming from the company, it's coming from a PR director at a third-party firm working for the company. They're coming out and they're saying things that would really show me they are trying to scale back costs. They are trying to find ways to do more single A, double A games. That one of the heads at Sony Santa Monica recently came out with a warning to other companies saying, I think people need to start looking at more AA, more single A titles, more, cost-effective ways to get games out, fun games into people's hands. Because let's be real, these companies can't let budgets and the red letter stuff, like the red tape, keep them from putting product out, because the more you go without putting out product, the more obsolete you become. You have to be putting something out, but you can't put out a AAA game every year. You just can't do it anymore. It's too expensive. Grand Theft Auto 6, look at this. Like, how long was this game taken to make? How many hundreds of millions of dollars did Grand Theft Auto 5 have to make over the 50 years that it's been out, right? That they had to put that into building and sustaining 5 itself as a games as a service type game, and putting the money aside to work on 6. It's been crazy. Like the amount of money gone into the game. Over $1 billion production budget. When it's all said and done, the production budget for that game is going to be absolutely insane. Probably worth it. It'll make their money back for sure. I mean, it'll make that money back soon. It's going to be a record-breaking game as far as sales and stuff go. I don't think anybody has any reservations about putting that thought out there. But every company can't do that. Every company can't do that. And I try to exercise patience when companies are taking a while to put a game out and all that kind of thing. Like, I know it takes time. I know it takes effort. So when Square Enix puts out a 2D HD remaster, even though I don't stream it, I will try to pick it up and play it, because I do want to support that business initiative that is going toward building the company for the future. These HD 2D remakes and remasters, not just from Square, but from other companies too. Trails just put out their remake. I've purchased it. I have not started playing it yet. That's where I'm going to start my Trails journey. I'm looking really forward to getting into the Trails series. I'm going to start with the remake of the first game, right? What better place to start? But I'm trying to support this stuff, and I hope everybody else does too. When a company puts out a $20 to $40 game, they want to be putting out the $60, $70 games, but they have to build up to that. You have to keep putting things out to stay in front of the consumer's eyeballs. And the market reset, I think, is starting to happen organically and naturally, because the more people make these simpler games, and that's where this is all going to, the more people companies make these simpler games, I think they're finding their passion for making video games again. This is just my take. I haven't seen or read anything that makes me think this. This is my take. Working on these simpler games, working on, like when Square Enix was working on, like, fixing up Alive and all that kind of stuff, and so other games that are coming out, I'm sure, with the Trails game, the remake, remaking Resident Evil 2, then remaking Resident Evil 4, and they didn't work on 3. But you see what I'm saying? I think it's reinvigorating these artists, not the business people at these companies, the artists at these companies. It's reinvigorating these artists at these companies to say, hey, whoa, wait a minute, this is why I got into doing this. Can we do more stuff like this? Can we scale it back? Can we get back into producing projects like this? Can we get back to focusing on making these things fun and approachable and accessible for everybody, and just reintroducing them to what these old heads out here talk about, the golden age of video games? Consumers are starting to understand that now, like gamers are starting to understand that now, and companies, it's helping them get back to basics on making these games. So I think there's a big reset coming for the industry, not only in how they look at the business of games, but how they look at making the games. I think the writing's on the wall. You can see it out there. There's a lot more passion being poured into games, and you could also say it's the post-COVID effect, right? Because I think this stream of games we're going to see coming out now is what are the games that went into development after the pipeline collapse, when everybody had to lock it down, couldn't be around each other, had to work remotely from their studios and stuff on things that were already in production. Things that were getting ready to go into the production pipeline got halted. So those things that got halted, I think we're starting to see starting to come out now. Like next year, we're going to start to see those games come out, and seeing what people having to reposition what they were doing during COVID and having to work on that post-COVID, either whether they got back to the way things were before or they implemented things that they did before. That all is going to add to this industry reset. How you produce, how you develop, how you go about the business, and just the fun and the love people are having about making video games again, getting back to basics. So I think we're going to see a sweeping change around 2027, 2028. We're not going to see it immediately, but here in the next few years, especially, I talked the other day with Jeff Keighley and Game Awards Inc., like how they're championing independent creators. The shift is going to be independent. That's where the whole thing is going to go. The whole gaming shift is going to be independent. The industry and everything, people are, independent games look more like AAA games now with a fraction of the cost, half the cost at least. Smaller teams, smaller cost, making the passion projects that they want to make. And there are so many gamers out there. There's so many people out there that have different niche interests and things like that now. Some of them are more niche, you know, but you know what I'm saying. There's something for everyone. And game industry, game companies, they're independent. These independent companies can cash in on that. Like big AAA companies that have to make your God of Wars, your Grand Theft Autos, even your Resident Evils, your Final Fantasies and stuff like that, they can't jump on that. But these smaller companies, they're like 30 to 100 people, and that's it. That's everybody. And they're like, hey, you know, I think we'll make a we're gonna make a sci-fi post-apocalyptic dating sim with goofy anime humor, but it kind of has an aesthetic of like the Lord of the Rings. You know, I mean, super crazy, weird niche. And I just gave somebody an idea. I know I did. 2028, you're gonna see that game pop up. I just gave somebody an idea for sure. That's okay. That one's on Uncle Ray. You can have it. Just send me a free copy of the game so I can check it out. But you see what I'm saying? Like all of that, that's happening now. Like those things are happening now. And these independent companies can cash in on those things. I think it's exciting. It's a great time. It's a great time to be observing the industry as a fan of video games and the art form that it is, storytelling, and just a fan of the business of it too, the fan of the personalities that are in it. Like the whole structure of making a video game to the end result of playing it, enjoying it, and thinking about it fondly and reminiscing about the stories and the characters, all that stuff. I love it all. It's all fantastic. Anyway, that's all I got. Another video coming later today. It's been 2 a day this week. Uncle Ray is on the case. So help me get to 6,000 subscribers and beyond. My goal is 10,000 by the end of the year. So let's rock. Let's make this happen. Anyway, I hope y'all have a great day. Be safe, be good to each other. Keep rocking. And I will see you all in the next video later this evening. Y'all take care.